Hey everybody, this is Chad Owens with Myers Network Solutions here with another IT security tip. Working from home right now poses risks to your company, and some of you may be coming out of the home situation or still in it, or deciding that now that you've gone through this that some of your people can stay at home and still work, but it creates a little bit of a risk to your company's data and therefore your livelihood as a company. Although your employees may have the best of intentions, establishing a work from home policy is really going to help reduce your risk by providing them a clear set of guidelines that they should follow if they're going to continue to work from home. So this policy should probably include how remote workers are approved to work from home, what physical security measures are necessary if they're going to work from home, how they're going to access your stuff, what's your online security going to be, such as passwords, and how they're going to access work files. If they're going to use a VPN and what kind of VPN that's going to be, acceptable use policies of your company devices. Can they use the work computer that you gave them to do personal stuff, or did you not give them a work computer and you're asking them to use their home computer to do work stuff? How's that acceptable use going to work out for you? And then also a procedure for reporting incidents. What happens if they get a virus at home, or somebody in their house gets a virus? What's their procedure for reporting incidents to you? So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to address a little bit of a technical issue here with accessing from home. Now, if all of this is already making your head boggle, like you just want people to work and you don't want to have to worry about this, well, it's going to take some energy to set up this work from home policy at the beginning. But once you have that in place, then it doesn't take really that much work for you to roll out a new work from home employee. But what I want to talk to you on a more technical level is about VPNs. You probably heard this word VPN. It stands for Virtual Private Network. It pops up all the time on websites. You're going to see it all the time, guaranteeing you privacy and security. But really, what does it mean? Well, let's talk about that for a second. Not all VPNs are created equal. VPNs have been around for a long time. Network engineers have known about VPNs. But VPN right now is becoming even more popular terminology because more and more people are needing it to get around some of the problems that they have with network privacy or network security, and then it's just a solution that is offered to you. But they're not all equal. They're not all created equal because they have different encryption, and I'm going to get a little bit technical, a little bit geeky here, and I'm going to speed through it. Okay, so if you love that stuff, research it. If you don't, just keep in mind somebody out there understands this, and just because you see the three letters VPN, it doesn't all mean the same thing. So way back when, we had PPTP, point-to-point tunneling protocol, and if it was encrypted, it probably wasn't even encrypted with the latest encryption algorithms, AES 256-bit, that sort of stuff with triple DES. Getting really technical there. But the idea is that say you had a site, you had a New York branch and a Los Angeles branch, and you wanted them to act as if they had a private cable run between them so that employees could talk to one another, files could be transferred, and nobody could see what you were doing. Well, rather than running cables from one location to the other location, network encryption engineers came up with this idea to use the internet and encrypt the tunnel from one site to the other. And so you would hire, back in the 90s, you would hire a network technician or a firewall technician to come in and install devices on both sides and then encrypt that tunnel, and it would be secure and great. Things kind of advanced from there. So that's called a site-to-site VPN. The second one you have is a client-to-site VPN. And this is when you have one computer and it's connecting to your site. Rather than Los Angeles and New York, it's somebody at home connecting. And you can have lots of these going on. And in order to do those, you need to have pretty much the same encryption algorithms, but you needed to have different equipment. You can just put a piece of software on the computer and then have your firewall at work. And so then they could access files from home. Now, the idea of accessing files from home creates that inherent insecurity that I was talking about. Okay, so are VPNs secure? Well, let's talk about that for a second. The answer is yes and no. If you have one of these, if you have a site-to-site VPN, let's say you set up a site-to-site VPN with one of your employees at home, and so they never have to log in and go through all the extra steps of securing. The problem with that is anything at their home is now exposed to your computer system at work. So if they have a kid that has a tablet and that tablet has a problem, that tablet can actually see the files on your work computer, depending on other security methods you put in place. This is an oversimplification to keep the video brief. So what you want to do is, instead of having all the computers in that home access your LAN, you want to have one of these client-to-site VPNs, which is great, but then your risk is that computer that you're installing the software on, is it secure? Is it your computer? Does your company own it? Or are you installing it on their home computer? If it's their home computer, do you have control over whether or not they have antivirus software installed on it? If you don't have that level of control, then you're introducing some level of risk. So to get around this, some people have instead given no security connection whatsoever, other than a remote access. I'm sorry, I'm skipping ahead here, but this is actually, when we talked about VPNs not being equal, this here, what you see on the screen, these are actually, they're all over the place on the internet. When you go to a website that says, don't connect to this site without a VPN, you see these private VPN services. Now, the difference between these private VPN services and your work site is that these are using somebody else's equipment and it's not connecting to your work. So now you have the site-to-site VPN, that's New York and Los Angeles connecting. Then you have the client-to-site, that's somebody at home connecting to your work. And then you have personal VPN. And this is more or less just a way to encrypt your personal traffic. It has nothing to do with your company access from home. So this is why I say not all VPNs are the same. When you hear that word, it's not the same at all. Now, if I were to compare this, if I were to make a comparison here, a site-to-site VPN is like leaving the garage door open to your house. All kinds of people can come into your house through that garage door. Now, you only want your garage door open so your neighbor across the street can come and walk straight over. And that's kind of what you're doing. You're leaving more access open, but it's not the front door to your house. Client-to-site VPN, this is more like leaving the back door open to your house. It's a small way that only one or two people can get in. They have to go around through the backyard, brave going by your guard dog, and then they can slip into the back door. Private VPNs don't do anything for you. They don't connect anybody into your house. What they do is they kind of hide where your house is. Okay, so moving on from there, let's say you decided VPNs are not secure. They're secure in concept, but they also have to be secure in practice. Okay, so we go into remote control apps. Now, you've probably heard of TeamViewer or GoToMyPC. You install this on a computer, and then they run a login, and then they go over encryption, and then they connect and they can remotely control your computer. The difference between a remote control app and a VPN is you're not really transferring files over. All you're doing is giving view and keyboard and mouse to somebody who's at home. Now, they can possibly transfer files over these, but most people don't. The idea is they have a computer at work, a computer at home, and then they connect the two, and then the computer from home never gets your company files. This makes it inherently more secure in that you don't have files in two locations and you're not as open to all the risks of a home computer. I hope that makes sense. Now, some people have gone the other way and they said, well, let's forget the VPN completely and let's synchronize files. So they take a laptop and they bring it into work and they copy their files, they synchronize their files. Here, when they go home, then they work from home on those same files, and when they come back to work, then those files synchronize up to the server, and they only have one computer. It's probably a laptop, and it moves from place to place. These other solutions all assume that they have two computers, one at work and one at home, if that makes sense. And this one, the TeamViewer, definitely requires that. If there's nothing to remote to, then you can't remote to it. Okay, so those are the major ways that people are working from home. But all of these have their flaws and all of these have their strengths. And so you really need to consider that work from home policy. What's your rule? Do you want files to be at somebody's home computer? Are you going to install and give them a hardened laptop that you own, that you tell them, do not use any of your personal information. This laptop is for work only. You want to do home stuff, you have your own computer. Right? You can come up with any policy. There's the absolute most secure, and then there's the more practical and affordable. Having them absolute most secure is having a hardened laptop that only they use, and they never keep any of their own files on it. They never keep any of their work files on it. That way if somebody steals that laptop, they don't get any of your data. All they use that laptop is to get access into your servers, and the files stay on your servers. That's the hardest, most secure, standard way of doing things. Then there's the more practical, affordable, which is just ask them to work from home and give them a remote login, or give them a client to Site VPN. I'm hoping this isn't getting too geeky and too technical, but the point is, when you hear the word VPN, just know that not all VPNs are created equal. And so if you call your IT team and say, we want a VPN, your IT team should start asking you questions like, what are you trying to accomplish with this? Are you trying to work from home? Are you trying to add security? What are you trying to accomplish? And then have them work with you to figure out the most secure way to work from home. And you work with them to create a policy. If all of this is just way too technical, trust me, I didn't even scratch the surface of the technical aspects of virtual private encryption. And we'd love to talk to you about this type of solution. If it boggles your mind and you need your people to work from home and you need them to be secure, they've been working from home for a little while now, but now you're starting to worry about your network security, give us a call. We're here to help. We deal with all kinds of issues from help desk to cybersecurity. So give us a call here at Myers Network Solutions, and have a good day.